Time coming up to 6:20. Student pub crawls and alcohol-fuelled initiation ceremonies are the target of a new government scheme to crack down on binge drinking. Well, we spoke to some students about their experiences of the drinking culture at university.
When students drink, it's usually they just lose their inhibitions, they forget about people around them, they forget about the implications of stuff that they're actually doing.
Especially on Freshers Week, it's just 2 weeks straight of drinking. I mean, obviously I partook in it myself.
In Britain, there's more of a drinking culture at university, and I think that has to do with the drinking age being 18 instead of 21 in the States where I'm from.
Well, we're joined now by Crime Prevention Minister Norman Baker. Norman, thanks very much indeed for getting up to talk to us. Well-intentioned, this scheme,
John.
I'm sure, but surely students are just going to laugh their socks off, aren't they?
Well, there's the students who are actually driving this with the Home Office, and this is a National Union of Students initiative that we're supporting with some funds here. And I think, having met students over several months now in my constituency, and particularly yesterday in Eastbourne, there's a determination, I think, amongst a lot of students to deal with alcohol in a different way from perhaps my generation or your generation did at university. There's a seriousness to try and make sure they get a degree, to try and make sure they come out with a good job. And I think as a consequence, it's the alcohol as, yes, part of student life, but not necessarily the be-all and end-all. It's
going to cost, I gather, something like £90,000, which in the great scheme of things is not a great deal, I confess. But how is it actually going to work, and will it be cost-effective?
I think it'll be cost-effective. We've got a pilot scheme going with 7 universities right across the country, from Wales to Liverpool down to Brighton and Eastbourne. And the pilot project will identify steps that they can be taken to reduce the excessive binge drinking culture, for example, by tackling initiation ceremonies and antisocial behaviour. So I think it will pay for itself in its own right. But what it will do, I think, is give an accreditation scheme for the universities. That will be a selling point for universities for students who want to study properly, and that will in turn hopefully be rolled out across the country, and it'll be self-financing within a year or two.
Yeah, but I mean, most students, I would hope, want to study properly, but they also want to have a good time. I mean, why is it, you know, an accreditation scheme a badge of honour? Why would they be attracted to that?
Well, I think they'd be attracted because they want to see... I think students are actually more responsible than they're often given credit for. And they want an arrangement whereby, yes, there's fun going on, yes, there's music, yes, there's alcohol, but it's done in moderation, done sensibly. And what we want to try and do is not to try and stop that in any way at all, but to try to stop the excesses which sometimes happen at the edges, where people drink far too much, endangering their health and causing antisocial behaviour. Alcohol abuse in this country costs us £21 billion a year, £11 billion in antisocial behaviour, about £4 billion to the health service and £7 billion from lost productivity. That's a huge amount of money, double actually what it costs from illegal drug use.
I'll take that on board, and I'm sure you're absolutely right about the figures. It's a great cost to the nation. But at the end of the day, this is a peripheral problem, isn't it? It's just a few kids letting their hair down, surely. Why devote so much energy and time to it?
Well, there's just one strand of our alcohol strategy. We're doing much more, of course, beyond this. And as I say, this is an initiative which has been brought forward by the National Union of Students. So they themselves see the importance of this and the value of this. What I saw yesterday, for example, in Eastbourne, was a fantastic transformation of a bar into something much more friendly in a kind of cafe culture way, where, yes, there was alcohol on sale, there was also coffee, there were people drinking alcoholic drinks, non-alcoholic drinks, there were men and women there, old and young. It was a great environment, and that sort of environment is conducive to learning and conducive to enjoyment, and more of that rather than a traditional stand-up bar, I think is probably a good idea.
Norman Baker, thanks very much indeed for getting up to talk to us.